so has been, there's a trail of beautiful memories.
One man's path from the police force to the pulpit and back behind the badge is remembered today. Do you remember when Denver police told protesters they couldn't even carry the Constitution at the airport? A new lawsuit says DIA's free speech restrictions are just as unconstitutional as they sound. We'll take a spin class with our politics guy on the claims being made about repealing Obamacare.
It's a seller's market. They're coming to me, not the other way around.
The most Colorado thing we saw today is an old Subaru that's not for sale, but that's not deterring buyers. And your next question makes me think a bunch of us are doing U-turns wrong. No turning this show around. Next hit's a milestone tonight. There are exceptional lives of service and sacrifice being led all around us. Lives that pass unnoticed by most until something terrible happens. As happened to RTD security officer Scott Van Lanken, shot and killed last week by a suspect whose name, face, and motive have no place here today, as Van Lanken's exceptional life was remembered.
Wow. What an amazing turnout. I think Scott's probably looking at us right now and saying, hey, what's the big deal? I'm happy, I'm home, I'm with my Lord and Savior.
Scott Van Lanken's life, his memorial service, were both filled with the irrepressible optimism familiar to the faithful.
When his body got invaded with a bullet, his spirit was not touched. It may have taken his body down, but it did not touch his spirit.
His spirit led him to leave police work decades ago to join the ministry. The financial pressure of supporting a family, including a daughter with disabilities, brought him back to work in uniform. His daughter wrote this.
Daddy, I never believed that you would be taken away from us so swiftly. Thank you for loving Crystal and I, and raising us up when we had no strength to provide for ourselves.
A father and a husband, a friend, a teacher, a pastor, and a protector of people in every moment up to his last.
It says that the memory of the just man is blessed, and I will tell you this today, ladies and gentlemen, the memory of Scott will never be forgotten.
In politics today, Republicans are moving to repeal parts of Obamacare in the state and federal level. And tomorrow, state legislators in Denver will have their first debate on a Republican plan to repeal our state's official healthcare insurance exchange, Connect for Health Colorado. Democrats are fighting back with a series of public demonstrations. So we asked politics guy Brandon Rittiman to verify a key point in their argument.
Supporters of the Affordable Care Act plan to kick off a statewide bus tour tomorrow, making the argument that Republicans want to take away health coverage from a lot of people. And they put a number on it. 588,000 people in Colorado. First off, Democrats are pulling this right out of the Republicans' playbook. You might remember Republicans claiming over and over that Obamacare destroyed health coverage for umpteen thousand people, when really a lot of those folks just ended up switching plans. Well, we got the same kind of overstatement here. Even if you straight up repeal the ACA, some of these people would end up buying health coverage, and without the exchange, you can still simply go and buy a plan straight from an insurance company. On top of that, this claim is speculation about what will happen and assumes pretty much everybody who's got coverage under Obamacare is going to be left high and dry. But we don't know yet what Republicans plan to do about all the people who have this kind of coverage. All that said, let's drill down on the number itself. It comes from the Urban Institute, a liberal think tank, and it is pretty close to the number of people with individual plans on the state healthcare exchange, plus those on Colorado's Medicaid expansion, which allowed people to earn a little bit more money and still qualify. And because Medicaid is still for people with lower incomes, it is fair to assume that if you killed that expansion, a lot, not 100%, but a lot of these folks would move forward without any kind of coverage. The exchange is a little bit different story. It's about a 40-60 split. 40% of those plans don't have a subsidy. 60% of them do, because the people have a low enough income to qualify. But a family of four can get a subsidy with a household income of $97,000. It stands to reason a number of families closer to that number are likely to still shop around for insurance on their own, even if the exchange and its subsidies go away. They'd end up paying more, but they wouldn't lose coverage. The bigger point is, for now, we don't have a finalized plan from Republicans to scrutinize, something Democrats are also pretty happy to point out right now. But until we do have that plan, it's hard for anybody to put a good hard number on what's going to happen to who with health coverage moving forward, Kyle.
Hey, recently, Brandon, I tried to extract a commitment from Colorado's Republican Senator Cory Gardner that anybody who is covered now will be covered later. And that is not something he was willing to promise.
Yeah, and perhaps not surprisingly, after we saw what happened to Democrats claiming if you like your plan, you can keep it. Healthcare is a complicated thing. If you're going to make big sweeping changes to it, you can expect it to have an impact on people. And I think it's fair to point that out for Democrats right now. But the messaging that we're seeing here is also pretending to know the outcome. And we frankly don't yet.
Yeah, we saw that like your doctor, keep your doctor promise that got a lot of people burned. So promises are a tough business to be in.
It's true. Yeah.
Same as politics.
Especially in big, complicated things.
Yeah. Brandon, thank you so much.
Thanks.
So Denver police are facing a new lawsuit over free speech. Perhaps you guessed that might be coming after seeing the video that we played of a police commander telling protesters that they couldn't even carry the Constitution at the airport. Denver police were dealing with protesters upset with President Trump's travel ban and his order blocking refugees. And that was the day that Commander Tony Lopez of DPD was caught on video telling protesters to stop holding up their signs because it was against airport regulations to have a protest sign without a permit. DIA requires official approval for protests. You have to apply 7 days in advance. Free speech restrictions at airports have been upheld by courts. But civil rights attorney David Lane says DIA has gone too far with its measures, which included relocating a protest.
You know, where DIA wants protests to occur is on the plaza between the Westin Hotel and DIA. So exactly 5 people might see the protest. It's the equivalent of saying, oh, Dr. King, you can have your march. You can't have it from Birmingham to Selma. You can have it in a cornfield in Kansas. How about that?
Denver police and DIA released a statement to us saying that they were trying to ensure the safety, security, and free passage of airport travelers during that protest. They also rightly noted that no one was arrested during that protest. The Elbert County Sheriff's Office got a little dramatic this weekend. A brush fire was burning near some homes, leading to a few evacuations, and a post on the Sheriff's Office's Facebook page featured a photo of the fire. Except this wasn't the fire. It's a stock photo of a bigger, scarier fire. What's going on with that? Using stock photos that make situations seem scarier? Who do they think they are? The TV news? It's today's edition of This Is Why They Hate Us. They hate us with the burning passion of a fire, like this one, ready to snap at us like a vicious dog, similar to the one seen here. Not saying they want to hurt us, but could we point the gun graphic the other direction? This overuse of dramatic stock photos on the TV news is an emergency, as indicated by our emergency light stock photo. And this is why they hate us. Seems pretty fair. So Next has officially been on the air for 6 months, half a year. I know, we're just as surprised as you are. But we've met so many interesting people along the way and been able to introduce them to you. Be thinking about who you know in your community that the rest of Colorado should really meet. Think about that as our producer, editor, photojournalist extraordinaire, Cody Broadway, the guy right over there, reintroduces us to 6 of them.
To whom it may concern, I wanted to reach out and share this photo that I took of a bumper sticker at a post office in the Denver metro area. As a teacher and a member of the diverse community that makes up Denver, I was angered and saddened to know that anyone in this amazing state would want to share such damaging thoughts.
At 14 years old, and by the end of the 4-day, 5-night march, I was at the ripe old age of 15. I turned 15 on the road to freedom on March 22nd.
And we was the second wave going into Omaha Beach. And it wasn't pretty. If the first wave hadn't went in, the second wave would have never made it. Because not too many of the first wave made it either.
It's very hard for me to walk these streets because I still get very emotional because it could happen to me again at any point, and it can happen to you at any point.
There's no stigma going to the doctor for cold or flu or whatever, right? But to go to a doctor and say, hey, something's wrong with my head is, you know, you come from a good family, you've got, you know, at the time I was married, right? And all of a sudden I come back with this diagnosis of bipolar, and I thought my life was over. I mean, and so I, you know, for the first couple months, it was like, I couldn't even believe that that was my diagnosis. I couldn't fathom how awful that was.
You're not worried if the government's going to come in and shoot you alive. You're not worried about your child going to school and being killed by the same military and law enforcement that is supposed to be protecting and serving its community. That's what we're not realizing.
I don't know what to make of it. That's why I sent it in to you guys. I figured maybe somebody would get a kick out of it as much as I have.
We can't figure it out either, but it is the most Colorado thing we've seen today. One spot in our state has seen 11 feet of snow since the beginning of the year. Bonus points if you can tell me where on Twitter before we get back. Have you seen the forecast in Denver this week? It's like San Diego, only we have a football team. Next. Just as the last little bit of snow melts in shady spots in the metro area, up on the Grand Mesa, they are absolutely buried in snow. Grand Mesa's seen an estimated 138 inches of snow in January, more than 11 feet. Got in touch with Luke Dobbs, a guide at Mesa Lakes Lodge, who says they usually get 50 to 80 inches of snow by this time of the year. This January, they got 115 inches.
You go out and you dig out a trench to a cabin that's about, 6 to 8 feet deep, and then you're right back the next day digging it out again. So it's been a lot of hard work.
Dobbs says a year's snowfall usually amounts to 35 feet of snow. He thinks this year they're going to end up with more than 40 feet. A lot of good guesses on Twitter. People thinking Gunnison, Crested Butte, they've gotten buried there too. But don't forget about our friends out near Grand Junction.
And our snowiest months are yet to come, March and April. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. A beautiful night in Denver, if you don't mind a little wind. Warm westerly winds pushing temperatures way above average today. 61 in the city. Will be as warm tomorrow, but a lot of moisture coming in from the west will mean a big mountain snowstorm. The winds, which are gusty now, will lay down here in the city tonight, but increase to 50 miles per hour along the Front Range. A winter storm warning out for heavy snow in the northern and central mountains. Over a foot of snow possible by Wednesday. In the southern mountains, a winter weather advisory out. Travel may be compromised by the wind and snow increasing during the overnight period. And while here in Denver, that front backing into northeastern Colorado may bring a little bit of moisture our way. Not a lot of snow, but maybe a few rain showers by this time tomorrow night. And that's really it for the rest of the week. Temperatures will trend mild overnight tonight for lower elevations and then stay above average for the rest of the week. The wind will be a bear west of I-25. Snow level tonight around 9,000 feet. Tomorrow, temperatures way above average again, and then we get you into the weekend with an actual chance for measurable snowfall here in the city Saturday night into Sunday morning. We'll see if that holds true. In the meantime, might as well just sit back and enjoy the view.
The most Colorado thing we saw today is going to take a bit of explanation. Coloradans love their Subarus, not new. So what happens when you have two Subarus sitting in the driveway? Well, people want to buy one. They assume you have a spare. In fact, you get so many unsolicited offers, you begin to collect them. And then you email next. And then we let you talk about it. Because come on now, that's kind of funny. Photojournalist Chris Hansen met up with Katie Klein today to hear about her Subaru, which is in fact not for sale.
The big selling points? It's a Subaru. We all love our Subarus. It's the official state car of Colorado.
You can't go a day without seeing one.
You can do anything with it. I've driven across the country on the beaches in California with this car. The sign says, not for sale, don't ask, and leave. Started about a month and a half ago. Had a guy knock on the door and he didn't introduce himself. He just said, can I buy your Subaru outside for more than it's worth? And I just kind of looked at him. It took me really off guard. I said no, but have a nice day, I guess, and turned around and thought it was really weird. And then it just started snowballing from there. I started getting notes on the front of my car, on the back of my car. It was a Subaru for sale. Can I buy the Subaru? One after another. It's a 2002. Things are going to happen. Look at the top of here, Roof rack's not great. I actually bought it this way. I'm telling you, this is how much people battle for these.
And when she first realized that I drove a Subaru,
that's when I knew he was a keeper.
This is a Subaru Impreza WRX, 2011.
I said, oh, there's no way. My boyfriend loves his car. He'll never part with that. And he said, oh, no, not the new one. And that's when I kind of was taken back. I was like, the old one out there, that's what you want? And he was like, oh, yeah, he had no interest in this, none. I am not going through another battle trying to find a good deal on another Subaru. That's why people are coming to me. It's never been for sale. There's never been a for sale sign, so I don't know what would give so many people the impression.
I don't know, the Subaru story is good, but Katie's boyfriend's beard and sushi print shirt might also be the most Colorado thing we've seen today. If you see something that just screams our state, you know how to get our attention. Use the hashtag HeyNext or email next@9news.com. If you kids don't settle down, I will turn this car around. But not before we settle your next question about how to legally make a U-turn. UPS doesn't turn left, saves a mint in the process. And whether Tom Brady's smug smile could be seen from space. It's science. Next. Our next question is about the right-of-way and the wrong way to make a U-turn. So who has the right-of-way? A driver making a U-turn or someone making a right-hand turn into the same lane? Well, different drivers in the next office do it differently, so we asked the experts at Master Drive, the driving school, and even they weren't certain right away, so it was a good question. They were kind enough to do a bit of research. And technically, at an intersection like this one, so this is Sheridan Boulevard and West 100th Avenue, there's no specific state statute that gives a clear answer. The solid white line on the side of the street means that both the person turning right and the person flipping a U-turn should be staying in separate lanes. Easier said than done, right? So even if they both turned at the same time, they should be fine. Again, easier said than done, especially for the person with the U-turn, but they both should be yielding to other traffic. So if we don't have a statutory answer, Master Drive says if they had to give advice on this, they'd recommend that drivers let the U-turn driver go first, then the right turn driver. May I make a recommendation where we point you towards something, anything that is not ours, but is definitely worth your time? Have you ever heard that UPS drivers go out of their way not to make left turns on their routes? That's not an urban legend. The company actually routes its delivery drivers away from left-hand turns to save gas. The company estimates it saves 10 million gallons of gas every year by avoiding left turns. Quartz, which is a mobile news outfit, explains the research associated with UPS's decision and also the implications if we all just kind of agreed that we would drive this way. It's really interesting. You should check it out. There's a link on the next Facebook page. Perhaps you heard that there was a Super Bowl last night. Patriots won. It is what it is. Here's something that perhaps you did not know. The International Space Station, where they watch the game, is about as big as a football field. The entire station weighs about 1 million pounds. The inside of it's massive. This space station is bigger than a 6-bedroom house. But it's a house where they get to watch the Super Bowl every year on a laptop. Your feedback, as always, the good and the bad, when we return. Your feedback now. Josh Bain writes, F you, dude. Don't think you're anything more than a city park yuppie who thinks you're connected to this city. My favorite part of Josh's tweet is there in his bio where it says servant of God. We profiled one of those at the beginning of tonight's program. I think he and Josh read different parts of the book. We'll see you next time.